I do. I had have some background in the animation industry, so yeah, from
That's hard.
yeah, yeah,
That's
definitely,
hard.
yeah, yeah. I actually, yeah, I work on a show right now. I won't say the show, just in case, but it's a Disney Junior show, a really popular one
Really?
with a couple dogs.
My daughter might watch that.
It's Puppy Dog Pals.
Really? My
Yeah,
daughter definitely watches that.
yeah. So I do coordinating on that show. Yeah, I work from home. Right.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of like that's something that most people don't even know about me. That like, yeah,
Yo, see, yeah,
actually,
see
so
that's what we
animation.
want to know. Bring that in here. See, I
Yeah,
got, I got little ones. You know that. And
yeah,
I would. That's my show. Puppy dog.
yeah.
You know. You got the plaque behind you going
Yeah.
on. Cwest album.
Man,
Said.
I'm just trying to keep up with you. I saw all your stuff, man. You got me wanting to start a podcast.
Come on, man. Come on aboard, man. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I say it's nothing like having different avenues, man. It's just like having different streams of income. Like it's always something to do. It's always, and then at the end of the day, what it does is it's still about your brand. It still
Yeah.
brings everybody, to the forefront of what you're doing. It, even for the listeners that don't know that I do music, that are
Yeah.
just tied into the podcast. Once they see I got an album coming out, of course they're gonna click that button, and of course they're gonna say, "Well, let me see what he's doing. Let's tap in." You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, it's great. I saw some of your stuff and I was like, it looks super professional and legit, like the origination stuff. It's great. Yeah, man. I dig the hustle.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I did all those logos. I do all my logos myself, and just appreciate it, man. It's just like I say, it's about building an imprint and building a brand, and just trying to stay afloat, man. We
Yeah.
in a game where we disposable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here,
Everyone's a
here,
rapper now, right?
here today, gone tomorrow. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Speaking of here today, gone tomorrow, how does C West stay relevant? How does he become not the guy of tomorrow, but the guy of the current and the guy of the future?
Um, Man, it's been a process of self-discovery. Like that's what you can hear on Time to Kill. It's really I'm still I've been doing this for over a decade, but I feel like I'm just starting still. I'm still a student, you know what I mean? I'm learning, still finding my sound and just finding, what the present is exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started so young. I used to go by MC West. Dropped the M, went to C West. I go by Cwest too. And
What
that's
what made you drop the what made you drop the M? Like, what made you, you know what I mean? What made you rebrand, so to speak?
I started so young. It was back when like 8 Mile came out. So
Okay.
the first thing I came up with was just MC West because I was all about being a lyricist, being an MC. So I'm like, all right, MC West, but then every time I thought of it, I'm thinking like MC Hammer, Kanye West.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It sound a little dated.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
after a while of that, all my friends were just like, hey, MC, what's up, MC? So it kind of stuck. Some people were like, oh, what's up, Sizzle? So C West, my usernames at work would always be C West from Corey West. And one of the guys at work, I think his name was Jamie. He was like, hey man, Cwest, that's a cool name. You should just call yourself Cwest. And I'm like, hey, yeah, that does have kind of a ring to it. That sounds pretty clean. So I started going by that. And yeah, ever since it's just been that process of discovery. I'd even say Time to Kill, I feel like it doesn't really reflect where I am now.
Okay.
But yeah, Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. Yeah.
You brung up Time to Kill. Let's get into that. Let's talk about that for a second, man. First of all, that's a dope project, bro. Dope project from start to beginning. You know what I'm saying? I took my time and just went through each track, you know, processed the music sonically, not only sonically, but what you were saying on the track. First of all, talk about the album title and how did you come up with that title?
Yeah, Time to Kill came from, I knew there was something with time. I felt like I was in an in-between place. I still kind of feel like I'm there. I'm kind of, as artists, we all kind of have those highs and lows. But I think the thing that's consistent that a lot of artists don't talk about is those in-between boring parts, those uninspired days. So many of them, you wake up and you're like, man, I can't believe I wrote these because this guy that's waking up today is
Yeah.
totally unmotivated.
Yeah. Or those days where you just wake up and feel like blah, just you know what I mean?
And I've just got time to kill today. It's like I just feel like I'm killing time, but at the same time, it's time to kill.
Yeah.
It's time for me to do this, get up, overcome all this, and make my mark.
Yeah, put some feet to the fire. Dope title. Okay. Yeah. And who did that cover art for you? The cover art is out cold.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that was a lot of work. Actually, that was a whole process. I had Kristen McCauley Photography. She's done stuff for Vogue and stuff now. I actually went to school with her, Columbia College Chicago. She majored in photography. She dated my big brother back in the day. So it was just kind of one of those things.
So you kind of had the little plug, like, so to speak.
Do some photos for me. And she helped me out. But I'm originally from LaPorte, Indiana. So I had to drive over to Chicago. And it was, I don't know if you've driven in the city, but it's kind of crazy, but those walls that you see in the background of the album with all the writing,
it kind of look like writing and like writing on the wall. Okay.
Yeah. Those I made those out of their big styrofoam walls, and I put all my like old lyrics and stuff. Kind of like I wanted it to kind of come off like this is someone, your 9-to-5er, like someone who's got a job and stuff, but they're just going crazy with this dream, crazy obsessed. And this is, their room. And it's time. The time is ticking. It just feels like every year that passes, like the terror of actually just having a regular day job and not accomplishing your dream. That's kind of what I wanted that to represent, with like the black and white, just colorless kind of thing, that whole storyline.
And you definitely gave us that vision. You definitely put that out there. That I think that artwork is just, it's a breath of fresh air compared to, the typical artwork that you see out there today. I can tell that you really, put some thought and put some effort into, like, okay, how am I going to bring the visual to life? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what was a lot of that coming in up with that artwork? Was that your own mind? Did you have somebody? Did you and the photographer throw ideas around, or?
No, that was totally me. I came to her with the vision. I said I want it to be this room. I feel like maybe I should be in like a suit or something, and the tie's a little bit disheveled and just kind of like, oh, I'm going crazy here. I brought the vision to her, and she said, yeah, we can make that happen. She had a studio in Chicago, but I had to make the kind of set, for it. So she had like this fake wood floor in the studio, and I had to drive these walls with all the stuff pinned on it in the back of a van that I was borrowing, and it didn't fit in. So I had to kind of strap the back down, and all the bullets were flying out the back. By the time I got to the shoot, I had to redo everything, and we had to put it back. And so and then it was raining all day. I was supposed to do a whole shoot with like all these different pictures, but we ended up like, hey, let's just focus on the cover. Let's really do what's important. So we did like 1 million takes of those, and
yeah. And sometimes you got to do those takes to get it right,
Exactly.
And it's funny you said time to kill, because you got a clock right there back there that says the time is now. Like, you follow what I'm saying? Exactly. So that's a metaphor within itself. Time to kill, but then when you look at the clock, the time is now.
Time is now. Yeah, it's always now, man. It's I think one of the things too that it conveys is just like, we're not getting any younger. We've got to do this now. Like, time doesn't exist in a sense, you know. I'm over here and it's this time over there. It's 3 hours ahead. It's like, what is it?
Like time is gonna wait on me to do what yeah, absolutely.
Can't wait. Yeah, it's like I'm done waiting. It's just time to get out there, put myself out there, and just make it happen. It's like no more half measures, you know.
You got a song called "Breaking the Wall."
Yeah.
Give me a time where Cwest had to break the wall. What does breaking the wall mean for Cwest? And give me an example of the time Cwest had to break the wall. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's breaking the wall. One thing I've had an issue with is just kind of the universal issues, like trying to get out of your hometown, trying to make a name for yourself, trying to even figure out who that person is that you're trying to make the name for. What are you climbing after? You know, it's just breaking the wall is all about just overcoming the doubt every time you're staring at the blank page, or you know, the bank is low and you're like, I've got bills, I've got rent, I can't pay it. How am I going to do it? You know, so I think we all have like problems, like relationship problems, family problems, money problems, job problems, bosses, landlords. So it's all about just
life coming at us, you know, from left and right, different angles.
Everyone's assumptions, preconceptions of us. It's just about breaking those preconceived notions and just rising above it, and even surprising yourself, you know.
Yeah, you've done shows at a few events, you know, be it South by be it the 16 bar challenge, the hip hop DX. You've done a few shows and you touched a lot of stages. What stage meant the most to you? You know, what stage did you get the most out of, and what lessons did you learn?
Honestly, one of the most meaningful ones for me was the 16 bar challenge for Royce to 5'9" was so.
Shout out to Royce. I'm from Detroit, so you know what he means to me. Not just as an MC, but just as a hometown hero. You know, I guess I got a little bit of bias in me. You know what I mean when it comes to Royce. Yep.
Exactly. I'm over in Grand Rapids, so I'm not too far away from you.
Okay.
Yeah. Royce is great. He's pillar in the game, and just as a lyricist too, just amazing. So I got the notification. I was just on hiphopdx.com, you know, one morning. I saw that he was going to be at Los Globos. I was like, oh man, I told my twin brother, like, Royce is going to be over at Los Globos. Like, I had just moved to Cali at that time, and I was like, this could be my chance. You know, he wants people to rap for him. And I had spent all day writing this crazy verse, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to win it, because the winner got to open up the show.
Okay.
So, so big opportunity. And, you know, I was super nervous trying to like memorize this.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah. I get out of the Lyft ride. I'm across the street from Los Globos, and I'm just like, I'm on the phone with my brother. I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm trying to spit it, like making sure I don't mess up. And, I ended up ultimately going with one of my old verses, because I'm like, I would rather spit something I'm familiar with and get stumble and choke, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I didn't win the competition, but I still got to rap for him. And then I met him after the show. And yeah, that was great. One thing I learned from that experience was, man, you never know what you're going to say when you meet one of your idols. You know, I had no idea what to say. I walked up and I'm just like, he's just standing there with a couple people. And I was like, that's when I realized I don't know what to say.
Yes.
What up, Royce?
Hey, yeah. Because, you know, first of all, it's getting the opportunity to rap in front of them, and then just to, you know, get that experience after you done, you know, toured down, you done did your due diligence, and okay, maybe you didn't win the competition, but even afterwards, you probably soaked up some game. You took a picture, like, you know, that's once in a lifetime. It's a kid in Indiana that didn't jump off the porch and then get that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty dope. That's the experience within itself. That's the experience to keep you going. Like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of situations where if I didn't get that experience, who knows? Maybe I would have dropped the mic, or who knows? Maybe I would have failed back.
Exactly. You need those those little wins. You know, I'm sure as an artist, you know exactly what I'm talking. Those breaths of fresh air, where you know maybe a producer comes around with some beat that really moves you, and you're like, I have to write something to this, or you know, a director, or you know, you do get those breaks along the way. I think it's kind of up to us to take those moments of inspiration and capture them. You know, that's the job of the artist, is like, when I have those ideas, I have to pull out my phone and write it down, or it's going to go. And then as you do those things, I think as you you get more confident in your ability, and you know, you're kind of rewarded for that in a sense. Like,
absolutely,
be more inspired. It's almost as if the more creativity you use, the more you get. So it's not this scarcity mentality that a lot of people have, where it's like, oh, I don't want to use this idea. This is one of my hottest songs. I want to keep that. You know, it's like, no, throw it out. You're going to keep making better things and better things, as long as that's what you believe you're going to do, you know?
Absolutely. I just right before the interview, right before I called you, I was just over there, you know, in my little corner, and you said when something comes to you, jot it down. I was in my little corner, just, you know, a couple bars that came to me that I was like, yo, I can't, you know, I gotta put this in the phone. I gotta jot this down. You know what I mean? Us as artists, our minds are always going, you know, what's the next cover? What's the next song? What am I gonna say on this next line? So, you know, we gotta unload. We gotta unload. Your first interview, you did your first interview. First of all, was it Long Island?
Yeah, Long Island, New York, the Real
First radio interview. Was that your first time in New York?
That was my first and only time. Yeah.
First of all, before we get to the interview, how was being, because you know that's the Mecca. Us artists, if we're not from over there, that's the Mecca. Sometimes it's like we just stepped down in the motherland. How was that visiting over there for the first time?
Man, it was great. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go downtown, you know, but Long Island itself was great. You know, the people were awesome. You know, I dug their accents.
Yeah, shout out to, I don't know if you're familiar with Pete Davidson. He from Long Island. Shout out to Long Island. They got a lot of legends from over there, you know. Wu-Tang Clan, you know, there's a lot of people that come up from out of Long Island. So that's hella dope. That's hella dope. But going back to Time to Kill, right? Cause that's my joint right there. Who are some of the producers that you work with on that, and how did you choose? Like, okay, how did you choose? Like, okay, this is going on the album. This beat is going on the album. Like, what's your thought process? What's your creative process behind it?
So the producers, a lot of the beats, you'll hear Diamond Style. So Diamond Style production. You know, Problematics. Who else we got on there? Yeah, a lot by those. Cash Jordan. I find a lot of the producers just the same way that you know, a lot of others do. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on, you know, BeatStars. And if I'll just go through beats, and if one reaches out to me, it'll be in the first few seconds. You know, I'll know, like, oh yes, okay, this is good.
It almost had your earbuds and, like, you know. Yeah,
exactly. Like when I first heard the beat for Too Close for Comfort, I was like, oh yes, this is it. This is what I'm going for. So it's just a process of really coming across those gems, those needles in the haystack, and piling those up. And then I really pay attention to details. Like I always listen to music as albums. So a lot of people like, I like this song, or I've always been an album person. So I feel like this is the vision that they wanted it. You know, this is the order. So I'll pay attention to like song transitions, or, oh, this sounds good after this one. This sounds like a number 3, you know, or something like that.
A lot of artists don't realize that an album, whether or not an album is cohesive, can make or break that album. Like, you know what I mean? Because I like to go through I don't like to skip songs, and I want to go through, and I want it to feel like it's a story to it. Like, no matter if the beat is high or low, no matter if the frequencies is this or that, you know, whether it's a lo-fi or a hi-fi beat, like no matter, I still want it to feel like this track went after that. Like I still wanted to feel like you didn't like it was all one track, like almost.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I want some of the similar elements. So even with different producers, I'll kind of I'll key in on different sounds and be like, I really like things like you know, ghosty reverse vocals or something
Yeah.
or like some you know,
Yeah.
something like that. I'll be like, okay, they have that, they have this, or something that, you know, you'll have a kind of R&B-ish, but like The Weekend or something like that.
Mhm.
Just elements that I like, and I'll look for those elements in different producers, and if it grabs me, I'll just record something to it, and then I'll kind of play the songs in different orders, just to see how does this feel, you know, and it's just kind of an intuitive process where it's like this feels right, you know.
I read somewhere where it says Cwest has captured the sound of his own right. Cwest has captured the sound of his own right now. The music is fresh. The stories, to the most part, for the most part, and the performances are consistently passionate and powerful. What is the Cwest sound?
Man, I think you know, something I have got from a lot of people is there's definitely like there's a little bit of a rock element. I do have like a background in rock and metal, but so you might hear some of that. I've heard like comparisons to like Linkin Park, Fort Minor type thing, but I think something that would come up is like determined, motivational, inspirational, kind of yeah, just motivational and energetic. But you'll definitely, what comes to mind, like wordplay. You'll hear like Lil Wayne type wordplay. You'll hear influences like Drake, Eminem. You know, I'm really into the lyricists. I love I love when you can listen to a song like 10 times and something that went over your head all those times.
You didn't catch. Yeah.
Yeah, that, and Royce is great at that too, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And was this a sound that you had to work on over the years, or was this something that you automatically like picked up on? Did you like was it something that you had to build and craft?
This is, yeah, it was definitely a product of years and years of releases and hard work. Before Time to Kill, I had other projects. My first project was in 2009 under MC West. It was called Spending Money to Make Money. 2010, Ask the Judges. I had another one, Death Defying. Then what was it, Stronghold. So I had projects after projects. These were things that were unreleased, or back in the day they were just released on Facebook or YouTube or something like that. But yeah, so this was my official debut, but that was the process, kind of stumbling through collaborations and just taking my inspirations and being like, oh, can I do that? You know, I remember the first time I tried kind of the speed rap thing. I found out I was good at it, and I started practicing it, and some of my friends couldn't do it, and I that's where I was like, oh, that's part of my sound, you know. You know, so I'm like, okay, so I do some of that, you know, I'll pepper that in, and I know that I like to be transparent, honest, authentic, but wordplay and poetry is like, you know, important to me. So
that's important. That's something that you try to make sure that no matter what, when you approach a project, that's in there.
Yeah, I definitely want I want it to be more than entertaining. Like I want people to walk away thinking, kind of just being like, wow, that's crazy. How did someone come up with that? Not only that, but yeah, you're right. You know, like the content, like on Settle for Best, just, you know, I want someone to listen to that and be like, man, yeah, you know, what was it like before I was watching the news, before I had a credit score, you know, before I had to pick a job, you know, all these things that we all deal with, you know. So I always wanted to relate. Like I'm always trying to connect through the music and just kind of, while showcasing, oh, how special and how great my rap skills are. I also want to showcase how, you know, how much we all have in common.
Absolutely. And so you talked about creating a sound and building and harnessing it. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the early Cwest, early C Money West. You know, when you were just starting out, and you found out you can do this. First of all, what got you into saying, okay, let me write music. I want to write music. I want to do something. This is something I want to pursue.
So when I was 14 years old, I got a bass guitar, and I started playing in bands, and I was always kind of like a background musician.
Oh, so you a musician as well?
Yeah, definitely. Drums and bass. So drums, bass. I do production, but I haven't produced any of the beats on my projects. I'm just more focused on being the best lyricist and artist, like rapper I can be right now. But I'd say, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Yeah. When did you first, when did you first got into writing music? When did you first get into writing music? What made you?
So I started off doing like bass and drums. I was always kind of in the background. I was in a couple bands, and my brothers were always frontmen. So I was like, man, I'd love to be up there, like writing, and it kind of appealed to me that way. But I never really thought about it until I went to school, got kicked out of the bands. I was getting more into hip hop and getting more passionate about it. And I decided, hey, I really want something I can do solo. When you're in a band, you got four other dudes. You got to be like, hey, what do you guys think about this? A lot of times, a lot of good ideas can get lost. So it was great to do something solo and just be like, yeah, I can do this anywhere. I don't need a guitar. I don't need this or that. All I need is my mind. And what appealed is just no one can do this how you can do it. How you do it.
Yeah.
So it's a big part of it is just the self-discovery of it. And keying in on the sound was just trial and error,
Yeah, that's hella dope, bro. Like same here. When I what got me into I'm the same way. I write music, of course, but what got me into the production side of it is because saying here I'm a musician. I play keyboard, play the harp.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was just like, why not? Like, just why not? Why not? Like, it just made sense. Like, you follow what I'm saying? And it's just something that you said clicked in my head. It's like, no one can, I can tell a person how I wanted to sound, but they still don't hear it how I hear it.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
That's unique to you. That's like your reality tunnel.
Yeah. I can tell you put the horns this way, but you don't hear the horns how I hear the horns. So let me just go ahead and
I might be saying blue and you might be hearing red.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You hear me, but are you listening?
Yeah, see? I love to say that. You hear me, but are you listening? Absolutely. That's a real thing. You know what I mean? You say you grew up in Indiana. How was the music scene where you grew up? Like was it big on like hip hop artists? Did you have a lot of influences in your hometown?
In the hometown, when I was growing up, honestly, it was more of a metal scene. So I was more so into like Slipknot, Mudvayne. Back in the day. But that was kind of the scene back then. It kind of had, you had your emo acts and stuff like that, alternative, acoustic, but we never really had a huge hip hop scene. That was one of my things when I was doing that. I was working at a coffee shop called Rocky Mountain Cafe, and I started throwing some shows there. I had an artist, Ed G, opening for me for my first show, and just, not a lot of people are there. It's the beginning shows, but I was trying to make a scene out there.
Sometimes, bro, those beginning shows be the most intimate. You follow what I'm saying? Because they're there to hear you. You follow what I'm saying?
Definitely. It's mainly family and friends, and that's how it starts, but I realized from that too that my whole strategy back then was, I have to get big in my hometown before I can get big anywhere else. But I realized how flawed that thinking was later. Nowadays I focus on like, no, I'm not trying to badger my family and friends with like, hey, check out my verses. They're like, we know you can rap, okay? But, so they know it's like expected. But I love when I can talk to someone, with a fresh pair of ears, someone objective who doesn't personally know me, like yourself, or other people reviewing it and get their take on it, because you know, sometimes when people are so close to you, they can only see you a certain way.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's nice to have someone just come to the music being like, this is my first impression. Just, I don't know this person personally. Let's see what the art says, you know, because they're bringing all their personal stuff to it too.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's nothing like you. Yeah, of course we want to get those accolades from those ones around us, but just like you say, for a stranger to say, "Yo, I like track four, number four,"
Yeah.
that really hit home, that really resonated to me. That's
Yeah.
who you do it for. That's what you do it for, like, right? You know, at the end of the day, because you know
Yeah.
that person is, no matter what, when the next project come out, they'll be right there in line, or they'll be right there in line on streaming, saying, "Hey, yo, Cwest, what we doing?" Like, you know, it's been 2 years. When that next one coming out, baby, we need that new one. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Uh, how much has your surrounding like influenced what you write, what you pen? Like, you know, how much of your surrounding growing up that you might have seen or might have heard, how much of that influences what you put down on a piece of paper?
Yeah, I mean that influences a lot. Like you'll hear a lot of autobiographical stuff on the seventh track, "All on You." Um, just kind of growing up, you know, like low income and just being kind of out more kind of out in the country or something like that. But just kind of being isolated and
Yeah.
yeah, you know, just a lot of cornfields around there, just not
Yeah.
really a scene or it's a lot of people from your past. It's yeah, it's a whole thing like the hometown thing, just getting out of there. But um man, I forgot your question again. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no, it's all good. Yeah, I was just asking like how much of that influence what you write, like what you put on a pad, you know, how much of that, like for example, like, you know, I grew up on the east side of Detroit, like, so
Mhm.
what I seen and what I heard was what I put on the pad, meaning, you
Yeah.
know, I seen a lot of the flossing, and I seen a lot of the, you know, even the criminal activity. So that kind of influenced what at the beginning of my writing, what I put on the pad, until I actually got to experience things. And now I want to talk about things that I might be going through, you know, in myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's definitely autobiographical, but I do have a lot of. I also use it for my visualization, or you know, this is what's happening in the future. Like I know I'm gonna make it. Like
Okay, yeah.
it's my confidence. It's like I know I'm here now, and maybe I'm busting these tables right now, or I'm working the day job and I'm trying to make this work. But I know this is temporary. You know, this is just a stepping stone to that. So. Yeah, it really influences me, but I would say being from Indiana, that isolation kind of influenced it that way. And then moving out to California
Mhm.
after kind of having established myself in Indiana as like, oh, a bigger local act, you know, it was kind of like, oh, I'm becoming a big fish in a small pond. So then
Mhm.
I go out to California and I'm like, I'm going to make this happen. And, you know, I'm like, I'm just going to stand on Venice and I'm going to pass out my CD. Some record label guy is just gonna give me a chance, you know, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're like, all I have to do is get to Cali,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Like we see, like we see it in the movies. We see the backstories where it was like, okay, yeah, all I had to do was take my last $2 and go
Yeah,
out here.
yes. So we're doing this whole pursuit of happiness thing over in Cali.
Yeah.
So, but going up to Cali, that kind of that was a wake up call for me. That was another chapter because I went from being that bigger fish in a smaller pond. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling myself a little bit. I've got some talent. I'm gonna make it. I'm going out to Cali to do my dreams. And then I get out there and everyone's an artist, and there are a lot of them are way better than me. You know,
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
oh man. So suddenly you feel tiny, and you're like, whoa, well, man. So everyone out here is doing this or trying to do this. You know,
Yeah.
so it kind of it makes
Everybody's trying to find their own way. Like
yeah.
even whether it's music, whether it's trying to get into acting, it's something. Everybody's creatively trying to find their lane.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's you also kind of get into a lot of things like, you know, people are always just networking. It's always like there's always got to be some motive behind what they're saying, or
Yeah.
you know, and you kind of start to miss those things about your hometown where it's like, hey man, can I just have a genuine conversation with a friend?
Yeah.
Some opportunity, or trying to do this or that, you know.
Did you connect with anybody out there? Did you find any connections uh that were like worth, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely met a couple people out there. I had one meeting with Warner Music Group one time, and I was going back and forth. I wrote like 2 songs for them, but that was a learning experience in itself, and that kind of made me realize, like, I think I want to, you know, right now at least I'm pursuing the independent route, just because it's just more important for me to.
When you're doing all this, when you're laying all this groundwork, is it just you? Do you have a manager? Because the artist that might not know how to, like, how did you get even in the building of Warner? It might be an artist out there that don't have a manager, so they wouldn't even know how to get into the building to where you at least got the opportunity to write 2 songs. Like, you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Explain how you as a person, it's just me, Cwest. I'm out here in Cali. How did you even get a chance to walk through that door?
Yeah, so I got to Cali in what, I think it was 2015. I graduated from Columbia College Chicago with a degree in music business and artist management. So I did that so that I could take care of my own business, manage myself, and so it's just me, no manager, no booking agent or anything like that. Yeah, it's just me out here, just me doing this. So
what was the conversation like? Because me, I'm walking out there, I wouldn't even know the first step. Like, you follow what I'm saying? I wouldn't even know how to.
It really was. What happened was I had my stuff mainly back in those days. It wasn't a lot of TikTok and Spotify. It was mainly Facebook. It was Reverb Nation. You know, we were just coming out of MySpace.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm 32, so it's like that's when that was happening. And you know, I had a Reverb Nation, and that was what I was mainly promoting all my music on. I didn't even have my stuff on Spotify, or I was like, oh, it's on my Reverb Nation, you know, check it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And actually I got a message.
I don't even think we were doing SoundCloud that heavy then at that time.
Yeah, no, there wasn't like SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah.
It was actually, what's funny is so I get this message on Reverb Nation, basically from someone saying, oh, you know, I've got a buddy that's interested in your music. and I was just thinking, whatever, yeah, right. You know, and it just seemed like one of those random, you know, you get DMs all the time. And so I kind of just was like, whatever. But I did tell him, like, hey, yeah, here's where you can find this or that. I gave him my info. And he wanted to set up a call. I got on the call with him. He was kind of the assistant of one of the A&Rs over there. And I was living in Burbank. I had just moved there because my brother was doing animation out there. He had just gotten the animation industry as a production assistant. So I'm out there. I get this message, and ultimately this guy sets up a meeting. He says, hey, this guy wants to meet you, and gives me the address, gives me the date. I'm like, okay, cool. I look up the address, and it's the Warner Music Group building. And that's where I'm like, oh man, wow. So I came there. They had listened to some of the music, and they were saying that, you know, we like the music, it sounds good, but, you know, we don't hear like a hit. And that was kind of my first experience of like, oh, okay, like the difference between the major label and the indies, where they straight up told me right away, like, hey, a lot of people come in here wanting to make their art, you know, and this is about making money.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is money. Like, well, you know, I remember he said, hey, you might be the next Justin Bieber. And you know, at the time, I was like, oh, no, you know, because I'm like, rap, like just rap.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I hope so, you know. And but yeah, after that, I went back and forth with them, doing a couple songs. They were different styles. It was just you know, just not me. And with every revision of the song, you know, they're telling me like, hey, you know, you got to say something about this product, or kind of use it as a channel to plug products like clothes or cars or jewelry. And I'm like, man, I don't want to just be a commercial. Like I'm trying to have a message here, you know? So I guess that was the,
It's
that
a
was,
gift. It's a gift and a curse because sometimes, like, it's a gift and a curse. You know, even your most prominent, uh, like J. Cole just dropped the album, right?
oh yeah.
And even he can admit when he first came out, he was that boastful rapper. He was that, you know, that guy that, you know, I got this on, this cost that much, and I'm driving this, I'm pulling up in this. I
Yeah.
bought a house that's this big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like the bait and fish, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you gotta, it's a gift and a curse because especially us as lyricists, us as MCs, you was the MC, us that's really intricate about our pen games, you know, sometimes we have to, what before the indie, before now where we can do, because we can put our own music out, we can press a button and get on Spotify, we can press a button. Sometimes we had to, you know, kind of bait and fish it and kind of put a cover, put a shiny cover over it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And say, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And then as soon as you get over here, now I'm gonna lay this on you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's like, what, you know? Yeah, and there's a lot of things you have to do too. I mean, there's a lot of plates spinning. I've I've been saying it, like, even though I went to school for music business, it's like since those days, I mean, every year the music business is changing. Like, I mean, TikTok, the challenges. I can't keep up with half the artists that are coming out now. Like,
Because now it's like you just said, I gotta have a radio hit and I gotta have a TikTok single. Now I gotta have something that they can dance to.
yeah,
I gotta
exactly.
have something that they can make a challenge to.
Yeah, exactly. So as it's like as you go through like revision after revision, it just kind of started to feel stale, you know, just so manufactured and so forced that it didn't feel like art anymore. It's just a product, you know. And I was just like, I don't like this, you know. On top of that, it took forever, like just callbacks, like going back and forth, where it's like, oh yeah, I'll submit the song, and then you won't hear anything for a month and a half or something, and then they'll call you and oh yeah, we got this going on. Oh yeah, but you know, and then you know, you won't hear for a while, and so it's a lot of like, man, if I was just doing this myself, this song would be out already. I would have done it. So I think creative control and the freedom that comes with being an independent artist is something that appealed to me after that situation.
Did that situation and those type of situations, do those type of situations put a bad taste in your mouth to where it's like, even if a label came with an opportunity that maybe I will rock with, I'ma still stay indie? Did that put a bad taste in your mouth to where it's like it's indie or nothing?
It did. I wouldn't say necessarily it's indie or nothing. Like, I mean, I would consider any opportunity. It's just, I guess it kind of it was a lesson in being a little more educated in the game and just knowing that no one's going to take care of you how you're going to take care of you
Ever.
so, exactly, and no one's going to care about it as much. So they may not necessarily see your vision. So it kind of goes back to like when I was in the bands. It's like, well, I want to get a song done. Now I've got to go to, you know, what, a whole board of directors to get this approved, or oh, is it going to start altering how uncensored I am in the music because oh, I'm worried they might not like this, or it's going to steer the content where you know, artists start making the art for the fans just for themselves, but then it becomes driven by what they think the fans expect.
Especially for a fan is really not a day one. See, a day one artist, a day one fan, that day one fan will appreciate what you put out because the day one they know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to tailor to the artist that doesn't listen to me. So it's like I'm trying to pull you in instead of just, you know, I got my fan base over here. Let me just do music for my fan base because they're not worried about if I want to go, if I want to write about this, if maybe I want to write about chickens and ducks today. They're gonna
Yeah.
understand, you know what I'm saying? But they're gonna rock with me because they know I'm gonna do them right and I'm gonna take them somewhere. They know, they trust me to
Yeah.
know that this is not just random. I got something with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they start making the sound, and then it's just like you're just like one of the other. Nothing makes you unique, you know. One of the things the guy said that's funny about the story is like, yeah, we just signed some guy, Post Malone. This was back during White Iverson when that was coming out, and now of course we know that like Post Malone's huge, but that those are the kind of compromises major label artists make. I'm not saying that major label deals or anything are all bad. I think it would make sense. It could make sense in my situation, but it just depends on how hard you're willing to work, how hard you can work, what budget you have on your own. But
yeah.
we can do so much with a limited budget.
And one more thing, not to harp on the labels, but
yeah,
a lot of them that's making those decisions, a lot of them that's sitting at those tables, really they not tuned in. Like they think they know what the hit is, but they, you know what I mean? They
yeah,
really not super in tune with it. Like all they doing is like, because they could anything. I could be sitting here singing about bubble wrap, and you can make it a hit if you put money behind it, of course.
yeah.
Of course, if you put the money behind it, you're gonna make it a hit. If you pushing it, it's on every commercial. It's on this movie soundtrack.
Competition.
Of course, bubble wrap gonna be a hit then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, duh.
Don't worry about these lyrics. That doesn't matter.
Twinkle Little Star is a hit because we heard it everywhere coming up as a child. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Out of my head,
Hey man, let's talk about collaborations. Who would you love? Like, who is your all time person that you would say I would love to get on a song with him, be it artist or producer?
Oh man, producer. I mean, I think Mike Summers from Strange Music. Mike Summers is amazing. I'd love to do something with him as a producer. Artist wise, I dig a lot of the Strange Music guys. Futuristic things like that. Marlon Craft just dropped a great new project called Space. I'd love to do something with him. Definitely.
Yeah, that's hella dope. I love Strange Music. I just love that whole brand, man. It's something about, and then it's almost like that's you see, and then we're talking about being signed. That's a perfect example of being independent and still getting that love as if you're the biggest artist out here. Like, you follow what I'm saying? That's like they get Drake type love because why? Because their fans won't change on them. Their fans aren't finicky. You follow what I'm saying?
Exactly. Oh, they've got that cult following. That's the Strange Music guys. Chris Calico, amazing. Cess Crew guys. Like all of them, be a dream to collaborate. Ritz, Tech Nine.
Yeah.
Veteran. So, I have a lot of dream collaborations. That's one of the goals with the next album is to get some features. As you can see with this one, I didn't have a lot of features. It was mainly like just me. But I think now that I've kind of got my debut showcase, I think next, I'd love to get someone on there. Like, so stay tuned for that. I've got some stuff.
I'm tuned in, baby. You ain't even got to worry about that. Let's talk about impact, man. We mentioned, us coming. You came when you came out. MySpace was just, leaving. There wasn't SoundCloud. How Reverb Nation? I was a part of Reverb Nation. I was a part of the nation.
We know.
You know what I'm saying? How much do you think the internet has impacted the music business today?
Man, it's like unthinkable. It's just completely transformed it. It's been good and bad. Like you say, it's like a blessing and a curse because of the internet, we can have this talk right now so easily. Be like, hey, you want to do?
I found you because of the internet.
Exactly, and we can be like, okay, what's his music like? What's his music like? Let's, it's great for that. What I think it isn't good for is there's so much, there are so many options now that it's easy for someone to just press skip. So it's saturated, So you
Yeah.
really have to be special, and that's one of the things I try to make my music stand out with is the quality. Like you say, the quality of the cover, the audio quality, the lyric quality. I just try to make the quality just next level. Just like, say like a Mike Summers production or a Tommy Prophet production or something like that. It's cinematic. I want it to sound big. I want it to sound like, hey, yeah, I am an independent artist, but this sounds like a major label song.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like it should be on the radio, like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it's possible for anyone to do that. It's just you have to just be willing to have the patience for the quality, because a lot of people will get excited that they just wrote a few hot bars and they'll just put it out on Facebook before it's ready. It's like, just wait, get some album art for it. Don't just Google image something, like, just when you take those extra steps, that's what'll set you apart.
Is is hearing a song on the radio still a big thing for Cwest? Like, you remember when we came up, like getting that record spun on the radio, hearing it, waking up and they playing my song on the radio. Is that still a big thing? Is that still a goal for Cwest, or is that a thing of the past?
I mean, with traditional radio, I don't even listen to traditional radio anymore, so it's really all about podcasts and things like that. It's more so like, oh man, could I get on the Breakfast Club for an interview, or could I get on Sway in the morning, or something like that. Like, it's more so I love the radio for more so for the interviews, and I love the personalities on the radio. Like, I'd love to meet like meeting Sway would be amazing,
Oh man, that's bucket list, right?
Yeah.
Getting up there and him hitting you with the 5 fingers of death.
Oh yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah, I think the radio still has its place. I just think it's more so interviews and kind of getting the behind the scenes stuff for the artists is what I turn to the radio for nowadays.
What's your I know we've been in a pandemic. I don't know if you've had a chance to perform during this COVID era or whatever. But even before then, what's your favorite song to perform, or what would be your like what, or even off of Time to Kill, what's your favorite go-to song that when you perform it just brings something out of you?
And I'd say, let's see, Time to Kill. Honestly, I'd say Breaking the Wall is always a strong one, just because it's so motivational. It's got the epic start. Usually, I'll go on stage and it's like I'm all nervous right beforehand, and right when you step on stage and you hear the beat, you start getting your first few words out, and it's kind of like it clicks. You're in the zone, and that one just has a great motivational energy that gets everyone pumped up usually.
I like to ask my artists a lot of I like to ask my artists this question because a lot of times, people don't understand that the music that we do, like, this is a gift and it's a luxury, right? Yeah. So if it wasn't for this gift, like, who knows what we would be doing? Like, you follow what I'm saying? So if MC West wasn't an MC, then what would MC West be doing? What would Corey be doing if he wasn't writing music?
Man, I've kind of
any other hidden talents. You might be the coldest ice sculpture. I don't know, like
yeah, I actually I do I have some background in the animation industry. So yeah, from
that's hard.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
hard.
Yeah. I actually I work on a show right now. I won't say the show, just in case, but it's a Disney Junior show, a really popular one.
Really?
With a couple dogs.
My daughter might watch that.
It's Puppy Dog Pals.
Really?
Yeah.
My daughter definitely watches that.
Yeah. So I do coordinating on that show. Yeah, I work from home.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of like that's something that most people don't even know about me. That like, yeah,
Yo, see, yeah,
actually,
see that
so
that's what we
animation.
want to know. Bring that in here. See, I
Yeah,
got, I got little ones, that. And
yeah,
that's my show, puppy dog.
yeah, yeah. Actually, I record scratch vocals for Bingo before they go official.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's kind of
Oh
like
man.
how there's like that story of like Fergie back in the day doing
Big
exactly.
ol' Rolly.
Yeah, so I've done
Yeah.
that for about the last year. I was on. There's a new show that just premiered. Chicken Squad actually just premiered yesterday.
Yo, yep.
That was my first show as a production assistant, and then I got on Puppy Dog Pals as a coordinator.
Yo, that's so dope. So yeah, let's talk about that, man, because
Oh no, I
okay,
rap.
a guy that and shout out to Disney, maybe they give me a sponsorship, hey,
Yeah.
shout out to Disney. So how does the guy like even get in that? How does the guy even like get in that lane? Like, of course you already was into animation, but like, how did you link up and get that, that plug?
Yeah, well, that really just came from so I have a really large family, and I have an identical twin brother named.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So we look alike and everything, but I was always more on the music side of things, and I was majoring in music business and things. John was always on the more illustration, visual side of things, and he went to same school for animation, and he ended up doing an internship over at Nickelodeon, getting in the animation industry, working his way up from
That's hard, bro. That's hard, man.
and I mean, it's like, even though we were family, though, it's like I had interest in checking out that industry, but it's like he was in it for 5 years, 6 years, and we were just doing our separate things. And I was in an in-between phase, in between, my rapping. I was in one of those phases where you're kind of like in between, like,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I don't know. Is this a thing? I'm like, I think I had just turned 30 or something. I'm like, I don't know, man. I just turned 30. It's over for me.
Yeah.
I'm old now or something.
Trust me, I'm 35, so trust me. That's what kind of why this podcast came about. Like, so trust me, it was just me finding another lane. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking like, oh man. And at the time, I was actually working as the receptionist over at Hollywood Burbank Airport.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like picking up phones, just really in between, not knowing what
Yo,
to
that's
do.
hard. Like, hold on. Like, I want to get back to this puppy dog because you don't know. I watch this every day faithfully. That's my show.
That's awesome.
So you do the scratching.
Watch that.
So you do the scratching when they get the going on the mission, when they going on the mission and all that.
Oh, so what I mean by the scratch vocals is like, I'll do like rough vocals. So before the actor comes in, the actual kid actor, I'll take sometimes in the pipeline, like we're not ready for the actor to come in yet. Mm-hmm. So they'll ask the production people like, hey, can you record these bingo lines? And so I'll record what they call scratch vocals, like just rough vocals.
Got you.
Yeah, so I'll just read this. I'll read the script. I'll record lines for the editing department and put them on the server, and then they'll put them in the animatic. And when we have the meetings, like to go over, like, okay, what are we going to do here and here? Like, I'm the voice for bingo.
Yeah, yeah.
So kind of funny, like, and then I'm like, turn that off, and I'm like, all right, let's make this song. So it's two separate worlds that I like to keep separate, but it's like I don't really bring my it's just not the time where I'm like, hey, check out my rap album.
No, yeah.
Puppy Dog
but you never know. Like, have you ever thought about getting into that? Like, maybe writing children music, like writing jingles and little.
Oh yeah. I work with I send things back and forth to the studio that does the music, and I work with the songwriters and stuff there. So I have correspondence with them, and it's just amazing what they do. Also the voice actors. I've got to sit in on some records, training as a script coordinator. So they go in when they do all the voices, and they get to talk to all the voice actors and everything. But yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy,
man, bro. That's so dope, bro.
Yeah,
like especially me coming up, like, cause me coming up, like I was heavy in art, and even my daughter right now, she's awesome with the illustration and the drawing. Like, so like, and me coming up, I was just always like, I kind of like low key, I kind of wanted to be like a artist, like you see what I'm saying, like a character. Like I kind of wanted to be like a character drawer. I even wanted to do voiceover work at one point in time. Like, so
yeah, me too, man. You still, yeah.
I just think that is so dope, bro. Like, so like, don't not be ashamed, but sometimes don't hide it either, because you got guys like me to be envious, like, oh man, that's so dope, bro. Like, for real, man.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I guess it's just like, yeah, I'm like, these are such separate worlds for me that it's like,
yeah.
But yeah, it is pretty cool. It is something that's it's just another thing where I'm like, I got this foot in the music industry, this foot in the animation industry, and it's just gonna be something original. Like I'd like to bring that in sometimes, like maybe a music video, like maybe do an animated part, but I have thought about, man, how do I get a message across, to a younger audience, or maybe doing a children's book, like with some type of lesson. There's nothing that's off the table. Like
yeah, you could be the next Blippy, huh?
Yeah, right. You never know.
You feel me? Like, hey man, it all works in the end, and you doing something that's positive.
Yeah.
And you still getting a check. Like that, at the end of the day, we still got to pay bills, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
fund my music. So it's like, oh man, I'm especially with when the pandemic hit. It allowed me to, because I was in an apartment over there. It was super expensive, especially when things got locked down. I'm like, why am I staying here? I can't afford this. Yeah. I was able to come here with my brother and get like a house, and start renting a house out here. But it allowed me to come back to Michigan, and be able to save some money and be able to fund the music while I'm doing this. And luckily, just being able to work from home has allowed me to get cracking on this album and do promotion and stuff like that. So it's just been a strange set of coincidences where here we are now,
Here we are, man. For your listeners that's listening and they want gems, and I like to treat this platform as a platform not only for musicians to come and talk about the new projects or what they're working on and life experiences, but sometimes I like to use this platform for gems and for those that might be struggling and on the music side and don't know where to go, or they teeter in between. I'm probably about to give up or quit. Is there any advice that you might want to give to your listeners or supporters, or anybody that might not be a artist but just want some type of advice? Is there anything that you would like to give to your listeners and supporters?
Yeah, definitely. What I can say about that, I've had personal experience with that. In those years when I was at the airport between animation and rap. It's kind of funny because I was at an airport, which is like a place of transition. You can go anywhere, and that's kind of what it was. And when someone's in that, my advice is just kind of, maybe that's what needs to happen at that point. There's a difference between when someone says never quit. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there are times where we have to know when to let go. And the difference between quitting and letting, good, or maybe for taking a different approach or something like that. So, don't be afraid to let go for a while. There were a couple years I wasn't rapping, like where it was like it got me into other stuff, like started exploring more just existential stuff, psychedelics, psychology, philosophy, just kind of found out more who I was as a person. And then I got to bring that back to the rap when I came back. So sometimes that break and that let go is exactly what you need. So if you do quit for a while, don't beat yourself up. There's no time limit. It's not 30 and then you're done. It's look at these rappers out here. They're 44, 56. Like,
I was just gonna say, and sometimes in hip hop music, we the only genre that kind of, and somebody else said this, but we're the only genre that kind of put a time cap on. When it's like, no, like, the Rolling Stones still tour, and we're the only genre that puts like a age limit or expiration date
Yeah.
on when we can record music.
Yeah, exactly. It's like look at Jay-Z, you know, he's still going. Like
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's no age limit. I would just say to those people, you're never too old, it's never too late. You know, if people say, "Oh, you quit," it's like your favorite artist has quit a million times. They just don't talk about it. It's like you know, we all quit sometimes, but you got to let go sometimes so you can come back refreshed, renewed, you know, with like a stronger sense of who you are, and that's going to make the music way stronger, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because now you have something to talk about. Absolutely. Well, Time to Kill is out right now. What are you working on? Anything? Are you just letting us breathe with Time to Kill? Are you just gonna let us breathe with that, or are you in the kitchen whipping up?
I've got some songs coming out. I've got a mixtape in the works. Just got the first song knocked out for that, and I've got the next album in the works. I'm about 6 or 7 songs deep on that. And I'm kind of going back and forth with the title right now, so I don't have the title, but I'm thinking that's going to be out probably just. I'll probably wait till the top of next year, but I'll be putting out. Just knocked out my first feature with the Diplomatics. I'll be on their second album with along with Afro Cess Crew. Did a song called New Sky with them. I'm really excited for that to come out. Can't wait for you guys to hear that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll be knocking out some other features in the meantime. And yeah, I'm just working and doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. You'll be seeing this get a lot bigger, you know. In the
Well, anytime you want to promote or anytime you got something coming out, man, just you already know I'm a DM or Skype away, man. Just let me know, bro, because I love it. Like I say, man, if it's good music, I want to put it out there. That's what this platform is about, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you having me on too. This was awesome. Like, I love just being able to sit here and, you know, chop it up with you. Just, you know,
Absolutely, man.
music.
Absolutely, man. The time is now, baby. Well, Cwest, MC West, baby. Where can they follow you at on social media, and where can they get your music?
So I'm on all streaming platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. It's just Cwest or Cwest, like Cwest. IG, it's Cwest Rap. Same with Twitter. Everything else, just Cwest Rap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cwest,
So
man.
there
Once
and
again, you live with A1. You went live and direct, and I appreciate you, man. Once again, man, and just stay keep hitting us with them bangers,
yeah, man.
and stay out of them Warner Brother boardrooms.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Death to the labels.
Definitely. Independent life.
Yeah, and indie life, baby. Well, I appreciate you, man, and thank you for joining me, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.